One of those cautioning against regional escalation is Jordanian Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Ayman Safadi, who joins me now to share his perspective. Minister, thanks so much for taking the time this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Jim.
Jordan is literally caught between Israel and Iran, geographically between the two. What is your message now, both to Israeli leaders and Iranian leaders?
We are indeed caught in between, Jim. Our message is that this escalation serves nobody. It threatens a regional war. And as far as Jordan is concerned, we will not be a battleground for Israel and Iran, and neither of them should violate our airspace, endanger our security and our people. And we will not allow either to violate our airspace. Our message, again, stop this escalation and focus on the real issue, which is ending the massacres and the catastrophe that continue to unfold in Gaza.
I wonder, did you convey a similar message before yesterday's strike?
Yes, we did. Our long-standing policy is that we do not allow a violation of our airspace. We communicated unequivocally to both sides that do not violate our airspace and do not drag us into your conflict, and we will not be your battleground.
I wonder, do you believe that the Israeli leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, wants a broader war in the region?
Well, I mean, he's the one who benefited most from the recent escalation. As you know, international pressure was mounting up 6 months into the killing and destruction of Gaza. More pressure was on him to stop the war. This was the perfect diversion. We've seen how world attention shifted into this escalation, and everybody started focusing again on the Israeli-Iranian conflict. So yes, that escalation works to his advantage, and what we're trying to message out of Jordan is that do not allow this to happen. Do not allow for attention to be diverted away from the real issue, which is the urgency and indeed imperative of ending this catastrophe in Gaza.
What is new here, the new threshold, right, is a direct attack on each other's territory. Iran directly attacked Israeli territory, and now Israel has directly attacked Iranian territory. Do you believe that Iranian leaders want to have a broader conflict as well, perhaps want to spark a direct conflict with the U.S.?
What we know for sure is that escalation is going to be extremely dangerous for everybody, for us in the region and beyond into the broader world as well, particularly in the U.S., which could be dragged into this. Iran retaliated to the Israeli attack on its embassy building in Damascus. It said then that it will do no more. Now Israel retaliated, and I think again the party that benefits most from that is Benjamin Netanyahu, who wants to push attention away from Gaza. We've long warned that Netanyahu would want to drag the U.S. into confrontation with Iran, and that should not happen, because simply it will be devastating for the whole region.
You posted on X, of course, formerly Twitter, today that the inhumane war on Gaza must end now. But it does appear that Israel is moving forward with plans for a broader incursion directly into Rafah. What do you say to Israeli leaders? Would you condemn such an operation?
Absolutely. I mean, we condemn the whole operation into Gaza, and we say to everybody that do not allow an invasion into Rafah, because that would simply be a massacre. 1.5 million Palestinians are now in Rafah, compared to the original population of 300,000. Most of these live in shelters. All of them, 1.2 million of them are refugees, displaced people. So that would be a massacre. And the reality is, Benjamin Netanyahu is not listening to anybody. The U.S. is saying, do not invade Rafah. Europe is saying, do not invade Rafah. We're saying, the whole world is saying, but he's going ahead and doing what he wants to do, because simply, Jim, he believes that he has impunity, that he's been getting away with a lot of defiance, even to the U.S., to the rest of the world. For months, the whole world has been telling him, open up crossing points for humanitarian supplies to go into Gaza, which is now, as a result of his policy, is facing real famine, and he did not listen. So we're faced with a reality in which Benjamin Netanyahu is challenging the will of the whole international community and subjecting not only Gaza to a terrible, inhumane war, but is also hurting the long interests of his own country, because the amount of dehumanization, hatred, anger that this war is generating is just beyond belief. And how are we going to navigate through that to get to the strategic, just peace that we all want is going to be a major challenge. What we say, stop this war, let's get back to politics and find a path to making just and lasting peace that will ensure the security of Palestinians and Israelis and everybody else in the region. That is the message. That's where the focus should be. And that is where the whole effort of the world should be.
U.S. officials have repeatedly pressed Israel to restrict its military operations in Gaza, to allow more aid, with limited success. You say that Netanyahu believes he can act with impunity. I wonder where this leaves the view of U.S. power in the region. Do leaders in the region see the U.S. as weak in the face of this?
Jim, I think we spoke about this not too long ago. All of us now are looking bad in the eyes of public opinion in our region and beyond, because they see that no matter what we say, we're not being able to stop Israel from continuing with this war. So yes, the standing of the U.S. is hurting, our own standing is hurting, and now with the latest escalation, I think Iran is trying to position itself as the champion of the Palestinian people, when in reality it is not, because the war in Gaza has been ongoing for 6 months. It only reacted when its embassy was attacked. So I think all of us are hurting, and that's why it is imperative, not just out of humanitarian, human law perspective, but also from real interest perspective. Israel should not be allowed to drag all of us further into the mud and hurt all of our interests and diminish all of our standings in the region and beyond.
As you know, the U.S. voted no, and of course you're in New York now and attended these meetings at the UN Security Council. The U.S. voted no on a resolution calling for the establishment of a Palestinian state. The U.S. still supports a two-state solution. U.S. officials explained that, in effect, now's too early. Now is not the time. And I wonder what your response is to that no vote.
Look, we regret that this has happened. I mean, the U.S. is a major partner. Without the U.S. leading, I think we're not going to be able to move the needle in any meaningful way towards achieving the peace. We need its involvement. But the reality is, the U.S. does support the two-state solution. The whole world does, but the Netanyahu does not. Not only is he saying he will not allow the two-state solution to materialize, he's taking actual measures on the ground that are undermining the viability of the two-state solution in terms of land confiscation, building of settlements, allowing settler terrorism into Palestinian villages. So the question is, do we allow Netanyahu to doom the future of the whole region to more conflict and more war? Does he get a veto on a future of peace for the region, or should he be stopped and not allowed to again doom the future of the region to more conflict? So if we all come up with the best plan for peace and we all agree that the two-state solution is the only way forward, do we allow Netanyahu to stop us from doing that, or do we leverage all that we've got to push for that solution and stop Netanyahu from killing the prospects for peace for the sake of Palestinians, Israelis, the whole region, and definitely the U.S. as well?
There are other players here, though, of course. I mean, you have Hezbollah, which is launching rockets and artillery into northern Israel. That has led many tens of thousands of Israelis to move south, in effect, away from their homes. You have Iran that has set a new standard, in effect, of directly attacking Israeli territory. What are the pressure points for Hezbollah, of course, very much tied to Iran, and for Hamas, too? What are the pressure points for them to accept, in effect, the other half of a two-state solution, which is the existence of the Israeli state in peace?
Look, I mean, the whole Arab world has said that we'll recognize and not only recognize but have normal ties with Israel and guarantee its security within the context of a broader peace that will end the occupation of the Palestinian territories and allow for the establishment of a Palestinian state. Once we do that, all of us will be able to stand up against anybody who's trying to threaten the peace and security of all of us. And now Iran says it is attacking Israel. It goes after Israel because of the occupation of the Palestinian people. If we end the occupation, what argument will Iran have? all of us in the region, the Palestinians included, will say, stay away from our business, do not interfere in our affairs, and do not spoil our lives, and we'll take care of that. But in the absence of that solution, in the absence of political horizons for that solution, and this is not just since October 7, Jem, I mean, for decades, since Netanyahu took power, obviously, he killed every chance for peace. So that is the dynamic that we have. We can either allow the radicals to dictate the future, or we can take the lead and move towards creating that peace. And we're ready in the Arab world. All of us are ready. The Arab Peace Initiative goes back to the year 2002. What we don't have is an Israeli partner who's willing to seriously, meaningfully engage. And I think the question that should be put to Israel very directly, and I ask you, please ask an Israeli official, what kind of future do they want? If they don't want the two-state solution, just tell us. What is the solution that they believe will bring about peace and security to the region? The way we see it, the only alternative to the two-state solution is apartheid and one-state reality. And that will not be a solution. That will be an ugly reality, because apartheid will then be institutional, and that will just lead to more conflict. So again, Iran, Hezbollah, all the radicals on both sides will have no argument, and will have all of us up against them if we have a peace based on the two-state solution. The Palestinians have their right to statehood and freedom, and Israelis have their right to security and being part of the region.
Well, we hope to see that peace in our lifetimes. Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, thanks so much for joining the program this afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.